A brick breaker roguelite that is frankly underpolished. And I had to do that take quite a few times because brick breaker roguelite is hard to say. Going into the game, I knew it was going to be a little rough as it wasn't released until 1 or 2 days after it was scheduled to be released. It also cost only $1. How far does that dollar go though? Well, I was feeling pretty underwhelmed from the start of my playthrough to the end of it. Believe it or not though, this game accomplishes very basic game mechanics that other games have missed. I am not an expert in Brick Breaker or Pong, but one thing I like about this rendition is that there's no ceiling. I wanted to cheese the game to see how progression can work by shooting straight up, but the ball will just simply flies out. Each ball also dies after bouncing so many times. In other renditions of this genre, I would do a long bounce by having it go wall to wall almost perfectly horizontally. What I'm saying, essentially, is this game understands that part of challenge in forcing the player to play the game. Gameplay over completion should always be the guiding light in game design. Another shining aspect is the dash mechanic on the paddle. With so many balls on the screen at once, that dash really came in handy. One big negative in the game design would be the game's difficulty scaling on the easiest difficulty. I wasn't sure if there was a failure state because it was kind of mind-numbingly easy by the time I was ready to call it a wrap on playing. I wanted to make lunch, so when I died, I noticed there was a shop where I can increase my upgrades permanently. I noticed there's a shop where I can buff the gameplay permanently. There was not any unlockables that were obviously available beyond buffs, so the only incentive to keep playing was higher difficulties. And I was truly done playing this game at that point, so I didn't really have another playthrough. I also didn't like how I couldn't just move the paddle to sort of give the ball a spin by moving it quickly and kind of setting it off in a new angle. Some Pong/brick breakers will let you do that with the paddle to increase skill expression. Without this ability, the only skill expression would be catching the balls as they came, which I did not exactly do great on. Quick note, there were special blocks that felt like bosses. I don't know if there are any true bosses that show up later in the game, but it was interesting and it added dynamic. The game design already falling flat falls flatter when I hate reading the text on the screen that tries to tell you what each power-up does. There was no clear symbols, and the font itself just kind of sucked, in my opinion. There was a reroll mechanic. I used one reroll, but it still said I had another, but at some point that went away. I don't know if that's a visual bug or game design. In addition to all this, the game tells you that there's going to be a tutorial, and when it puts it on the screen, it just says, hey, there's no tutorial, just learn it yourself. I actually liked how I didn't have to do another terrible indie tutorial. I wish they took out the text that was saying there was going to be a tutorial and just went into the game. This is one of my longer reviews because this game is so much more interesting than some of the other indie games that I've played. There are certainly better games out there, but I think what this does good and what this does bad just really reflects the effort that they put into this game and the lost cost effort that other games have put into it, where it was still a boring game and they just kept adding to it. Truly, if they put more effort in this game, it would have been worth more than $1. Is this game worth $1 though? Certainly if you like the genre. I enjoyed it. I probably won't play it again, but I don't feel like they stole the dollar from me. There's also better brick breaker games out there on phones and probably on Steam too, I assume. It is always interesting to me when these sort of really small developed games come out where they seem like side projects by some random people. Some go in and they make updates such as Dice with Death. I still play that game. I really like the updates that come out. It's probably a very specific niche that's just meant for me. But if this game is a passion project of this stranger, this random in the world, and not just shovelware that some AI just threw out there, I will return. I'll come back to it and I'll see how it goes. I probably won't make a video on it, but I'll be back. With all that being said, I give Rogue Pong 2.5 boss blocks out of 5.